guys, welcome back here to the Fishing Teacher. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me a little bit and swinging by the channel. And guys, at the time of filming this video, we're right almost to the first week of April, excuse me. Fishing's getting good all over the country. Water temperatures are warming up. And guys, I want to talk about one of the best ways to catch a big fish during the month of April, and that's with this 8-inch Megabass Magdraft swim bait. I'm going to give you guys some tips and advice on where to fish it at and how to fish it. We talk about Magdrafts a lot on the channel here, but you've got 4 different sizes of Magdrafts. Every single size has a time and place throughout the course of the year that they work the best, and we're right in the window for the big 8-inch model of the Magdraft here, so we're going to talk about this. And also, guys, I will put this in my Tackle Warehouse link. I'll put the link to the 8-inch Magdraft in there if you guys would like to pick up a couple. They got a bunch of good colors. They all work. My favorite's probably, you know, the whiteback shad or the MB gizzard shad. That nude rainbow works good, but they got a lot of really good looking colors. So that link will be in the description there. And also, guys, real quick, anybody interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, a private lesson, I do my lessons at Table Rock and Stockton Lake here in Missouri. Just give me a shout on my Facebook page. Send me a private message to Intuitive Angling at Randy Blockett on my Facebook, and I'll get you guys set up with the details on that. Okay, guys, this is a big bass lure, man. And the cool thing about the 8-inch Magdraft, it's a big bait, but it's not too big to catch 2-pounders. I've caught a bunch of 2-pound fish on this along with some bigger ones. So it's sort of like in that perfect zone to catch a giant one, but not so big that you're not going to get any other bites. If you go up in a swim bait or a glide bait much above something this size, you're not going to catch many fish at all on it, even big ones, but this is sort of like the perfect size. Now this Magdraft, if you've never seen it, guys, it's got the hook in here. It's got a magnet on the belly that keeps the hook in place. It's got a notch that allows it to fish flush against the belly, so the hook is not a strike detractor. When you reel it through the water, that head sort of goes like this, and that big wagging tail, it just puts out a lot of thumping vibration, and it looks really real. I mean, look how natural and real that thing looks. So it's very appealing to big fish. So given that, let's talk a little bit about when the sucker works and how you want to fish it and everything. First of all, you got to fish it on some heavy tackle. I fish it on my flipping stick, my Megabass Alkalies flipping stick, 25-pound test Seaguar Visex fluorocarbon. And that's about all that rod wants, because this sucker weighs several ounces, that bait, but that's what I do throw it on. And one of the things about it, when you're fishing that big Magdraft like that, the big 8-inch Magdraft is going to be a little bit better if you fish it a little bit deeper in the water column. The 5- and 6-inch models, I catch them up real shallow on it, but that bigger one, they like it deeper. But I just make my cast with it, guys. I'll throw it out there. I'll have the rod tip pointed straight at the bait, and I'll just reel straight at the bait just like this, like a slow retrieve, and occasionally I'll give it just a half turn like that. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. So the bait is moving fairly slow through the water column like this, and then all of a sudden that half turn makes it dart forward like that. And most of the time that's when they'll get it. So that's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple bait to fish as far as how you work it and, you know, what you have to do. There's not a lot of action that you have to impart on the thing other than just that half turn. The most important thing, and this is very critical if you're going to have success with the 8-inch Magdraft, is you've got to have the right day, and you've got to have the right conditions, and you've got to have the right water. Everything's got to be lined up perfect. If you do not have the conditions I'm getting ready to lay out to y'all, probably not going to catch many fish on them. But here's what you have to have. Number one, you've got to have a lake that has a decent population of 3-pound fish in it. 3 pounds or bigger fish. If you're on a tough fishery that gets a lot of fishing pressure and doesn't have very many good ones in it, probably not the bait you want to throw. But if you live on one of the bigger lakes across the country, you know, TVA lakes, any lake in Florida, any lake in Texas, any lake in California, even some of the big lakes like here in Missouri, I've caught them on the Table Rock Lake before and Bull Shoals Lake. Those are going to be good places for it. The next thing with it, you have got to have the right type of weather and day for it. You're not going to catch hardly nothing on that big Magdraft unless you have what I'm going to lay out here for you. Number one, you got to have wind. If you don't have wind, it's super hard to get a bite on it. If you have wind, like 10 to 20 mile an hour wind's perfect. Something that's got a pretty good surface disturbance. So it's got some wind kicking up against the bank. That's number one. Number two with that is I like to have considerable overcast. It doesn't have to be like completely cloudy or rainy, but I like at least 75% overcast with that strong wind. And that wind also needs to be out of the south, southwest, or west. You don't want a north wind. They won't come up and bite it very good. So that's the combination. And then you got to have the right water clarity. The water clarity window for that 8-inch Magdraft is a lot more precise than the other ones. All of the good fish, or most of the fish in general I've ever caught on the 8-inch Magdraft, has been in water visibility of about 2 to 4 foot of clarity. That is like the magic window. Perfect window visibility for it, in my opinion, is about 3 or 3.5 foot of visibility, in correlation with the wind and in correlation with some, considerable overcast. If you have that, if you've got the south wind, low light conditions, wind, and especially water temperatures between, like, say, upper 50s to low 70s, like 58 to 72 degrees, which is normally like between, sometime, March into early May, that's everything that you need for this thing to work good. So that's the conditions you have to have for it. But the most important thing with the 8-inch Magdraft is not like a lot of other baits out there where you can just, find out pretty quick if they're biting it. If you're going to catch many fish on that big Magdraft, you've got to put it in your hand and not take it out of your hand. It's a bait that you're not going to catch a ton of fish on. But if you stay with it all day long and it's the only rod that you have in the boat, and you're throwing that sucker for 8 hours, and you've got the conditions I'm talking about, you're going to catch a few good fish on it. That's the main thing. Is you got to have this shift in your approach mentally that say, look, this thing's good. I'm not going to get a lot of bites. I'm going to throw this thing all day long. I don't care if I throw it half a day without a bite. I'm going to throw it all day long. And finally, where you want to throw it at. You need to throw the big Magdraft on places that are over deeper water. In other words, I like to throw it out off the end of deeper points, main lake and secondary points. I like to throw it, around standing timber or submerged timber where the fish can come up on it. Bluff banks, channel banks, anywhere we have some deep water access where those fish can come up on that bait. You don't want to throw the big Magdraft on places like the back of a cove where the water's 3 foot deep, where they have to come sideways on it. Of course, neighbor starts with the leaf blower as soon as I start this thing up. So concentrate on your points, your bluff banks, your steeper riprap banks, and all the other stuff that I talked about, and you'll definitely have a shot to get some good fish on it. So anyway, guys, I'm going to get off of here so this blower doesn't drown the noise out, and appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll talk later.